The flood line came up to here, smothered these ducts, knocked this duct off, and then lifted the barrier in the crawl space. This is just soaking wet. And then all this drywall is all wet, and it smells not good. So this drywall will come off, and then these ducts should be replaced. Here's our water line. Coming up to the crawl space door, you can smell a strong pungent odor. And here we see the foil foam liner has been lifted enough so that it broke the main seams, and you can see water that is still pooling. The bows and the ductwork is because water has infiltrated the HVAC system. Some of it actually came in right here at the fresh air intake. Looks like the wires were above the flood line. Recommendation is to gut the liner approximately 2 feet up the wall, at least above the flood line, and replace it, and replace all of the HVAC ductwork. All this bubbling of the liner is because water had risen above it. Apparently the flood vents did work. Flood line came all the way up to the middle of this fresh air intake. So right here across the top, you can see the very distinct water line submerged the generator. These wood registers right now are swollen, so they won't come up. Moisture content is coming in at almost 18%.
During Hurricane Matthew, the water level came up 3 to 4 feet at this house. It covered the pool, and there in the distance is the lake. You can see the water line on the middle of the arm rail. It was just below the entry into the home. Here, debris caught up in the lattice work. Here in the garage, there's a golf netting on the garage door, and you can see the water line, good 4 feet up. The water had saturated almost up to the door, but had affected the HVAC system. So the HVAC system drops down into this lower drywall area, and the bottom half of this ductwork was covered with water. The water knocked off this duct, you can see water in the bottom of it. The weight of the water caused the duct to fall off. This water had also entered the crawl space. So we have main trunk that is wet, as well as water inside the flex duct. There is an offensive odor that is starting to occur in the crawl space. Here is a shot of the left side of the house, and again you can see the distinct water line on the crawl space door. It is below the joists. This generator was submerged. There in the corner is the fresh air intake. Water came halfway up the fresh air intake and was also able to enter the HVAC system through this point. The flood foundation vents were operational, balancing out the water pressure. but the water that was able to enter the crawl space floated the liner, detaching it from the seams, covering it with a fine layer of silt, dislodging personal items that are in the crawl space. And the HVAC system is currently non-operational, so the humidity levels in the home are going up. Some areas on the floor it's above 20%, other areas it's from 14 to 18%. Some cases the register covers are swollen and they won't come off. These ducts had been previously cleaned, but we can see debris within them and the water line. Some of the ducts were cleaned and still are, ones that weren't in the water. Recommend full crawl space and HVAC remediation.